Welcome everyone to another edition of Mark's Action Figures. There's a story about something that doesn't just exist in one place, but appears differently. Same shape, same presence, same feeling, just not always the same color. Dilim of the East. Morocco of the West. Vozlak of the North. And Garros of the South. These are exclusive Big Bad Toy Store loose collector, the Crypt action figures. At first glance, you might think this is a lineup of different werewolves. Different personalities, different designs. But look closer. The sculpt is identical. Same posture, same proportions, same stance. Only the color tones change. Black, gray, white, brown. But make no mistake, these are different creatures, seen in different environments. Or worse yet, the different creatures seen in your environment. Let's begin with the East, the black variant. This one feels like night. Ominous, evil, deadly, not just in color but in presence. This is what you'd expect to see or not to see on a dark road or just beyond a tree line. People have reported seeing something like this. A silhouette first. Too tall to be a dog. Too canine to be a bear, too still to be natural. And by the time your eyes adjust, you see its eyes. Intelligent, analyzing, assessing, threatening. Its gaze cutting through your soul. All you want is for it to be gone. Then we have Morocco, the gray beast of the West. This one feels transitional, not fully hidden, not fully exposed, like something caught between two worlds. This is the version you might see at dusk or dawn, when light plays tricks on distance, and your brain tries to explain what it's seeing, except sometimes it just can't. This is Vozlak, the white variant from the north, and almost like an Arctic form. Then somehow this might be the most unsettling one, because it isn't something hiding in shadows. This is something that could stand out in snow, in open space, and still not be recognized for what it is. Witnesses in northern regions have described pale versions, almost blending into their surroundings until they move. And then it's too late to mistake it for anything else. And here is Garros of the South. Earth tones, brown, beige. This one feels grounded, like it belongs to the forest itself, not passing through it, but part of it. If the others are glimpses, this is a version that stays, the one that watches, the one that doesn't need to hide because it already blends perfectly. And maybe that's why so many sightings happen near wooden areas. Because if something looked like this, you wouldn't see it until it wanted you to. So here's the unsettling part. These aren't 4 different creatures. They're one sculpt, one form, just different variations, which lines up a little too well with what people actually describe. Not consistent details, but consistent shape, consistent movement, consistent feeling of dread, of pure, unadulterated fear and terror. Like people aren't seeing different things. They're seeing the same thing, the same type of creature, under different conditions. These figures are absolutely gorgeous, extremely well sculpted. Massive, massive weight. Solid paint apps. Fantastic articulation. They come packed with 3 pairs of hands, fists, open claws, and a neutral stance. Now, that part that makes this go from toy review to something else entirely is that these descriptions aren't isolated. They're not just fiction, storytelling, fantasy. They show up in different places, different decades, different people. But the core details don't change. A large, upright, wolf-like creature, massive shoulders, human-like posture, and movement that doesn't match any known animal. In North America, this is most commonly referred to as a dog man. And the reports don't come from fridge internet stories alone. They come from hunters, truck drivers, campers, rangers, cops and deputies, people who spend long stretches of time where most of us don't. One of the most well-known clusters of sightings come from rural Wisconsin and Michigan, especially near isolated farmland and woodland roads. One recurring account describes a driver traveling late at night on a rural highway. No traffic, no streetlights, just headlights and forest edges. They report seeing what they first assumed was a large dog standing at the side of the road, except it didn't move like a dog. It stood upright, completely still. When the vehicle slowed down, the figure turned toward it. And according to multiple similar reports from that region, what people notice first is not just size, up to 9 feet in height, but posture. Shoulders too broad, arms too long, a head held too high for a wolf, and then it steps back into the tree line. Not running, just disappearing, like it was done being seen, or it attacks, viewing you as its next meal. There are also Canadian reports, especially from remote forested areas in Ontario and Quebec. These tend to have a different tone, less roadside encounters, more deep forest proximity. One frequent repeated style of account involves campers or hunters hearing movement around their site at night, heavy footsteps circling the perimeter, branches snapping at shoulder height, then silence, and eventually a presence at the edge of firelight. What witnesses describe is not just a shape, but a feeling that something is observing their behavior, waiting for reaction. In some cases, individuals report seeing eye shine far above animal height. Not reflective like a deer, but fixed, intentional. And when they try to illuminate it directly, well, they wish they can unsee what they saw. Across almost all Dogman style reports, there is one detail that repeats more than anything else: the shape of the head with pointy canine ears, intelligent eyes, almost human-like in their stare, amber orange, bright enough that they seemed to emit their own light source. Not reflective like animal eyes caught in headlights, but internally lit, like something was powering them from within. They also describe extremely long arms extending down near the ankles and hands that don't resemble paws in a traditional sense. More dexterous, more structured, almost hand-like with giant claws. Their movement on two legs, dog legs, no less. It doesn't rush immediately, it doesn't always attack, it observes. Sometimes for minutes, sometimes longer. As if it is assessing. And that's what separates these accounts from standard animal encounters, because predators hunt, but these reports describe something that studies. And then there's the smell. The smell of decay, wet dog mixed with dry blood and decomposition. The Matt Emk story, interview with George Nanocchio, host of What Lurks Beneath channel, is something that you need to see. You need to watch this interview. To summarize Matt's account, around 1987, as a teenager, he and a group of his friends were in an industrial area near an abandoned steel mill when they encountered what he describes as a massive wolf-like creature. The creature appeared significantly larger than any known animal, with an upright posture and movement that alternated between bipedal and quadruped, motion without difficulty. It had glowing amber orange eyes that appeared internally illuminated, long arms extended near its ankles, and hands that were described as unusually dexterous and almost human-like in structure. Matt emphasizes that the creature did not behave like a confused or injured animal. Instead, it moved with control and awareness, and he and his group felt as though it was actively observing or tracking them. The encounter resulted in a lasting psychological impact, with both fear responses and trauma-related effects reported long after the incident. Matt has since spoken publicly about the experience in an effort to validate others with similar encounters and highlight that these experiences are often deeply personal and life-altering for those involved. I strongly recommend that you click on the link below and view this interview. Trust me, I'm not doing it justice. And that's what brings us back to these figures. Dylan, Morocco, Voslak, Garros, same sculpt, different tones, different interpretations of the same form. Black for night sightings, gray for twilight misidentification, white for snow-covered regions, and brown for forest blending. Which, when you think about it, mirrors exactly how these sightings are reported. Not one consistent appearance, but a consistent shape, filtered through environment. So, maybe these are just collectibles inspired by folklore, archetypes, myth. But folklore alone usually starts somewhere from something seen, misunderstood, passed down. And if enough people across enough places keep describing the same silhouette, the same movement, the same feeling of being watched, then maybe the story isn't about wolves at all. Maybe it's about what happens when something notices us and never stops. As a collectible set, this is genius. Simple idea, powerful execution, same sculpt, different tones, endless interpretation. But as something else, it hits differently. because it suggests something that doesn't change form, just appearance. So if you ever think you've seen something, but you weren't sure what color it was, that might not matter, because you may not live to tell the tale. If you like this video, remember to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Have you ever witnessed something similar to this? And until next time, I will see you in the next review.